Hey BoLS fans, AdamHarry back again with another BoLS unboxing. Today we are looking at XCOM the board game. We picked this up at Gen Con. The wrapper's already coming off a little bit, but here's what the box looks like. Here's the back of the box. You can see here, a ton of stuff. This is licensed with 2K Games, Fraxis, designed and set up by FFG, of course. But it's pretty cool looking. There's a lot of fun stuff. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of the XCOM video game series. I've been playing it ever since I was a little kid, all the way back, you know, to the way back, the XCOM underwater game. I don't even remember the name of it. XCOM Interceptor, all that stuff. I played it. It's in my Steam library still play it. I was actually going through XCOM Enemy Within pretty recently. So last night I stayed up way too late. This is one of those games. One more turn. Next thing you know, it's 6 a.m. It's happened. I'm not gonna lie. So, but XCOM, I really like this game. There's a picture of the figures there. Again, FFG, known to make some pretty awesome board games. So, let me rip the plastic wrap off and we'll jump on in. Okay, plastic wrap is off. Let's jump on in. I do want to mention one thing real quick too. This does require a free digital companion app. Just want to call that out. So, tablet, iPhone, Android, whatever. Check that out. Probably want to take a look. So, there we go. There's the box. FFG catalog. I like that. Here's an intro. Pretty important. Ooh, tokens. Oh yeah. I mean, this stuff looks straight out of XCOM Enemy Unknown, and the DLC Enemy Within. So I'm playing through that stuff right now. Some cards. This is obviously the board, and we'll take a look at that here in a second. I'm set it aside for now. Got some cards, more cards. With two awesome minis. Seriously, these look right out of the game. That's awesome. So some dice and UFO invasion cards, and I believe that might be it. So, okay, not a whole lot to go on yet, but I have a feeling there's going to be more to it than just that stuff. So I don't want that to sound like disappointment. I'm just surprised. I was expecting to punch more tokens out. Maybe that's just me. I just like punching out tokens, right? So, okay, let me open this stuff up, lay it all out, and take a look. Okay, this is a lot more stuff than I thought first glance. So, lots of stuff in here. So there are, miniature-wise, there are 12 minis for the troopers. There's a handful, as you see, of the interceptors here as well. I think it's 7 interceptors or 8 interceptors, excuse me. And so there's 3 of each of the support class, the heavy class, sniper class, and assault class. But those are different soldiers. They're also just basically resource tokens, and then a bunch of UFOs that are going to fly around on the board, as you see here. It's pretty nuts looking. So let me start off by just saying this real quick. Again, it does require a digital download to actually play this game. So it's the first board game that I've ever unboxed where it's mandatory that you have to play with a digital companion app, which isn't a bad thing. It's just different, again, from anything I've ever seen. But it is available for iTunes, or sorry, the Apple App Store, and then of course Google, the Google Play Android store as well. So basically, a quick breakdown. Each player is going to take the role of there's one of 4 roles, and again, there's 4 players, up to 4 players. As you see here, the AI is all done on the app for you. There's a real-time phase and then a turn-based phase. The real-time phase is kind of weird. Let me read these roles off to you real quick. So first off, there is going to be the commander, which is this yellow guy, the yellow icon here. So as a commander, you are responsible for the following. You keep track of funding, track the budget, take emergency funds, crises, so resolve crisis cards, and global defense. Assign interceptors to global defense. Again, just like the computer game you see here on the board, maybe you can't see there very well, but on the board there's different continents, and you assign interceptors to the continents, and then those interceptors are going to shoot down UFOs later on, and then that'll trigger missions and other stuff too. So I'll get into all that. Next up is the so we've gone on the commander. Next up is scientist, the chief scientist. As the chief scientist, you are responsible for research, assigning tech and scientists to research, and of course salvage, using alien materials and how you do that. Then next up we have central officer. Central officer, they are responsible for communication. They relay information from the app. So you have one player that's dedicated to basically handling the app. Again, during the real-time phase, literally stuff is happening in real time. You have to make decisions as a team. Intel, you spawn UFOs on the board, so you're the player that's keeping track of the app and actually putting the UFOs, these bad boys, on the board at the correct spots that the app tells you to do. Orbit, you assign satellites to orbital defense, and threat, you track the threat level. So you have a very key role as a central officer. And then last but certainly not least is the squad leader. As the squad leader, you are responsible for missions. Choose a mission card. So there's a mission deck I'll go over here in a second. Deployment, how you assign soldiers to the current mission. And defense, spawn enemies and assign soldiers to defend the base. So there is a bit of base management and base fighting in there. So just move this board down just a smidge here and we'll zoom back out. So you can see here lots of stuff going on the board. The board is very detailed, lots of stuff going on. We've got the map here with the different continents, different fighting zones. I've got some of the cards laid out kind of how they are. You also have these 4 cards over here that are kind of cheater cards for your command roles. That's what I was actually reading off of. So that's just the chief scientist. So you've got just a ton of different decks here. So each player has their own kind of tech deck that they're going to go through. And again, this is all assigned. The scientist is the one that's going to be in charge of researching stuff. So they've got a balance between researching UFO for sorry, not UFO, but salvage for instance, there's the UFO navigation for the central officer. When you research that, during the resolution phase, exhaust this card, refresh one asset card or another tech card. So it's stuff like that. It's how do you want to work together to do stuff. Again, to research all the different weapons, the plasma cannon for the heavy stuff like that, or for the fighters and stuff like that. So, and then of course different tech, different abilities for the soldiers, which is going to be super important if you want to actually get those kills. And honestly, like a lot of this artwork, it looks straight from the video game from Fraxis and 2K Games, which again is not a bad thing. It's, they had some pretty cool stuff in there. Here's the mission deck. So you got 5. I'm sorry, not mission deck. This is put that back. This is the mission deck. The 5-card deck that's the invasion plan deck. These are the mission cards. They have this back like that, and then you flip them over, and there's different missions. Basically, so here's a terror site. So how this works is reduce the panic in any continent by 1, reduce the panic in South America by 2. That's again if you complete that mission. So and it's very similar to the board game, or sorry, the computer game, as far as the theme for sure. The artwork ripped straight from the game. I'm pretty sure I actually have a couple of these people that look exactly the same in the computer game, so not a bad thing. There's also an enemy deck, as you see here. Certain things will trigger enemy cards to be played, and I'll lay these out real quick. So we've got some sectoids that will show up, and they have different abilities for the different sectoids you see here. So you've got thin men, which are the weird reptilian-eyed skinny guys, if you're familiar with the video game at all. You got floaters, which they're the guys with the little rocket packs that float around, obviously. And then you have an outsider, which is made from the Illyrium, I think it's called. Mutons. So elite mutons, chrysalids. These guys are really nasty in close combat. So I remember that. Cybernus, those are pretty cool. So, and again, it's sectoid. It's all stuff from the game, from the computer game. If you're familiar at all with that, actually coming out with a sequel pretty soon. So, I'm kind of pumped about that. Yeah. So again, that's pretty much it for the cards. I've covered a lot. And again, tech deck for each player, resource decks. They have these other cards that are for like your asset pool. So at the start of the game, you place 8 satellites here. And then you kind of use those to, when you buy them or whatever, to place satellites on the board and stuff like that. So good stuff. A bunch of the UFOs. Let's go ahead and zoom in on these figures real quick. can see here, pretty detailed actually. Not too bad. I kind of like the mold. The bottom of them is very plain, but I mean it's a UFO's engine bay, so I guess it's not supposed to be that hefty or that detailed. But pretty cool stuff for these. There's a ton of these UFOs, so they look like little candy discs. So we'll take a look at these models real quick, and they look pretty cool. I do like the soldier figures that come with it. So you can see here. Let's move these guys up. We'll zoom in a little bit more. So first off, this one right here, that's going to be the support class. So supports have different abilities and things like that. But you can see the models, the detail on the models is pretty good. Like 20mm scale. I'm tempted to use these in other games too because they look pretty good. So then you have the heavy with their rocket launcher element. It's got the missile launcher there with them. Sniper, very cool. Again, the poses and stuff, the weapons ripped right from the game, computer game. Again, not a bad thing at all. So pretty cool there. And then the assault class, shotgunner, running in there. Running gun ability, very, very key for them. And the double tap. So yeah, and again, you get a bunch of those. And then just real quick to look at the interceptors. You can see there's the bottom of the interceptor. More detail than the UFO's underbelly, but that's but they look really cool. Like I kind of love to see some of these painted up. Maybe I'll paint one up just for funsies one day, but I don't know. It is a board game, so you don't have to paint stuff up. But if you're a hobbyist, then there's always projects to do, right? So, unfortunately, there's not a ton of stuff. XCOM also uses some unique dice. So, see here, you've got basically success dice. It looks like it's a third of a chance to roll a success. So there's one success there, one success on the bottom, and then 4 blanks. So it's, from what I was reading through the quick start guide, it's kind of a push your luck system. So for resolution, and it doesn't look like you have a whole lot of, a third of a chance for a lot of things to go down. So you maybe want to be careful when you're pushing your luck. And of course we have a D8 for the alien die, which I'm not entirely sure what that's for. A lot of this stuff, again, is controlled through the app, and you can actually download the app and check out you can also access the app from most internet browsers just by going to xcomtheboardgame.com. So again, xcomtheboardgame.com. If you don't have a iPhone or whatever, you can actually play the game still, or Google Android device, excuse me. So you can actually still play the game without one of those. It's just recommended. But again, go through your browser and check it out. There's actually a tutorial online as well to learn how to play. If you go to the app and select tutorial in the difficulty menu, so it'll walk you through how to play the game. And then last but not least, we have the tokens. These are front and back. It looks like it's just the one sheet of tokens, which, FFG, I love you guys when you do a bunch of tokens, so I'm kind of sad that there's not more tokens. I'm just kidding. There's a ton of tokens. You probably don't need them all. So just the different stuff there. These are actually for, these tokens I know are the elite tokens for your soldiers, and these are actually money. So keep tracking research, satellites, yeah. So pretty quick unboxing, I think. The game looks interesting. I'm going to go check that app out right now just to try to learn more about the actual gameplay. I don't have a lot of feedback right now because, again, haven't played the game yet. So, but there's also, I forgot to mention this other deck. This is just the Crisis deck. So, yeah. So there you have it. That's a quick unboxing of XCOM the board game. Go check it out. XCOMtheboardgame.com. If you want to learn more about the game, check that out. Again, FFG's known to make some pretty awesome board games. Again, this is the first one for me where there's a mandatory digital component, so I'm curious as to how that works. But I really like the computer games, so I love the whole series of XCOM. So I'm gonna go check it out. I hope you do too. This is AdamHarry from BoLS signing off. Have a good one.